I don't know if you remember when then Speaker Nancy Pelosi refused to let Republicans that she didn't like even sit on certain House committees. You remember that? She banned Marjorie Taylor Greene from a seat on either the Budget or Education Committee. And when she cranked up her committee to investigate the Capitol riot of January 6th of 2021, she rejected the Republicans that Kevin McCarthy had proposed, namely Congressman Jim Jordan and Congressman Jim Banks. And she replaced them with Trump-hating Democrats in disguise, Liz Cheney and Adam Kinzinger. Now that the Republicans have taken the House, Speaker Kevin McCarthy has announced that he feels quite comfortable in following the same rules that Pelosi installed and has made clear that Eric Swalwell, the congressman compromised by his relationship with a Chinese spy nicknamed Fang Fang, is not going to be on the Intel Committee. And Adam Schiff, who repeatedly lied about having evidence of Donald Trump colluding with Russia, even though he never produced a single paragraph to back it up, he is not going to have a seat on the Intel Committee either. Of course, immediately the Democrats in Congress started crying like 8-year-old girls not invited to the slumber party at the cool girl's house. And to that I say, cry me a river. There really is a reason that Swalwell and Schiff don't belong on the Intelligence Committee, starting with their own lack of intelligence when it came to knowing who really was colluding with the Russians. Turns out it was an FBI agent named Charles McGonigal who had ironically worked to prove that President Trump colluded with Russia. Follow that? $37 million spent and no evidence of Trump ties to Russia were ever found. But all the while, McGonigal was allegedly taking bribes from a Russian oligarch that he was supposed to be investigating. Well, what do you know? Another corrupt FBI agent guilty of the very thing that he was falsely accusing Donald Trump of doing. McGonigal was arrested this week. He could face several years in a federal prison if convicted. And do you get the impression that more and more when the left accuses someone of doing something, it's their cover for trying to hide what they themselves are actually doing? I don't know if you remember, but it's like the Old Testament story of Haman, the evil government official who had gallows built to hang Mordecai the Jew. But Haman ended up on those very gallows when the king realized that it was Haman who was the bad guy who had plotted against Queen Esther to have her and all the Jews killed. Well, the pattern here is unmistakable. When the left screams about something, it almost always seems to distract attention from what they are doing. An entire summer of riots in 2020 with multiple cities experiencing burned down businesses, assaults on police stations and government buildings, and the torching of police cars was laughingly called a summer of love by some idiot parading as a public official in the Pacific Northwest. And remember when the CNN reporter had the audacity to say that the flames of burning buildings and rioting directly behind him was a mostly peaceful protest? When Hillary and disgraced former FBI Director James Comey accused Donald Trump of collusion with the Russians, it was in direct contradiction to the now established evidence that we had FBI agents getting big bucks from Russian oligarchs and Hunter Biden arranging multi-million-dollar business deals that not only enriched him, but his famous dad. And when Joe Biden was calling Donald Trump irresponsible for keeping documents that were deemed declassified and kept in locked facilities that the Secret Service was protecting, it turns out that Joe Biden still had classified documents dating all the way back to his Senate days and had them strewn about in multiple locations, including in his not at all secure garage where he parked his Corvette that son Hunter would drive at times. So when you hear Joe Biden, Hillary, Adam Schiff, or pretty much anyone from CNN or MSNBC tell you that Trump or the Republicans are doing something nefarious, I say sit tight and just wait for the coming news. that the howling left was merely covering up what they themselves were doing. I don't trust them any more than I trust my grandkids when they've got sugar dripping from their lips and sticky residue on their hands, and they tell me they absolutely did not get into the candy. Hey, Mike Huckabee here. Listen, if you love your mom, apple pie, and being conservative, you know you ought to subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell, and click the like button, and show all the leftists out there that conservatives are thriving and patriotism is far from dead. Am I pandering too much? No way. I'm just getting started.